Hey everyone, I hope everything is fine. You have got these books, right? Now, before you go to the classroom and before even you start teaching these books, you should go through this video. Make sure you watch this video and completely understand what are the objectives of this book and how you should teach these books. With this video, you will be able to understand the objectives of each chapters and how you are supposed to teach them. With each unit and chapters, you will get a video which will give you more details about how you are going to teach these chapters. But this video will give you an overview, and from this video you will definitely be able to understand how your teaching should look like. Now, unless and until you realize this video, don't go for taking the classes. First, understand this video, then watch the other videos of the classes that I am providing. Then you prepare your lesson. After that, you go to the classroom. Make sure you watch every videos at least 5 times. Now, why it is 5 times? Because it's going to help you realize the underlying objective and the meaning of the sentences that I'm using, or even in some cases you might be able to realize the context. Okay, now let's get into the book. The very first chapter, unit 1. Unit 1, it is talking about sentence. Now here your main objective is to help the student understand that if you want to create a sentence, you should put a subject and then a verb and then an object. The next class will explain, the class 2 of unit 1 will explain how subject can help changing the meaning. What happens if you change the subject? What is the importance of subject? That should be your objective. Now watch the video that is given. Then the next unit is talking about verb, and the next one is talking about object. And your objective is to make sure that the student understands subject, verb and object, importance of these 3 components perfectly, and then they are being able to identify the subject, verb and object of sentences that are given to them. If that happens, if they can identify and they can write down some basic sentences on their own following the pattern, that should be a good output from these lessons. In the unit 2, you will see the 5 classes is containing about 5 different type of sentences. These types of sentences like assertive, interrogative, optative, imperative and exclamatory sentences. Each of these types of sentences we are using in our day-to-day lives. This is what you need to help the students to understand, that whatever words or whatever sentences we're speaking in any languages, we are speaking in these 5 types of sentences. Sometimes we are receiving orders, sometimes we are giving orders, sometimes we are praying, sometimes we are just describing things. Now, this all things fall within these 5 types of sentences. Your task is to go through each classes and help the student understand each type of sentences. Once they have understood, make sure to help them understand that these sentences are also constructed with subject, verb, and object. Once they are done, you can go to Unit 3. That should be your objective of Unit 2. Help the student understand different type of sentences based on their meaning. Each of these 5 sentences has different meaning. They create different types of meaning. Assertive, it describes things. Interrogative, it asks questions. Imperative, it takes order or receives order or gives order. Optative, it shows your wish or your prayer. And exclamatory, it explains your exclamation. Sometimes we are wondering what is happening, why this is happening. That's the exclamatory sentence. You will see details of each classes with the video for the classes. Before you going into the classes, see all those videos first and then prepare your lessons. Based on that, you deliver the classes. In the Unit 3, there are 5 stories. Yes, it has got different sort of stories, and your objective is to tell the student those stories. First, you help the student to read those stories. Then you translate it in your native tongue. Say it in the Rohingya language what this story was about. And what is the story? Tell them just the story you would tell to anyone. Don't ask them to memorize it. The main objective of these stories are to enhance their reading habit. I'm giving a sample of it. For example, look at this. The story of a thirsty crow on page number 71. Once upon a time there was a crow. He was very thirsty. Look at this page. It's saying, once upon a time there was a crow. He was very thirsty. You read this sentence and then explain it in your native tongue or Rohingya language. For example, if I were explaining it to my Bangladeshi people, then I would have said, অনেক অনেক আগে একটা thirsty crow ছিল, একটা কাক ছিল, এই কাকটা কি ছিল, অনেক thirsty ছিল। ঠিক similarly you explain it in your Rohingya tongue. Then ask the student to read the sentence just like you. Once upon a time there was a crow. Help them read it. The crow was very thirsty. That's it. This is how you go through these stories. All these stories in Unit 3, and there are some other units that has got stories as well. You do the same thing. In the Unit 4, you see past, present, and future. In the Unit 3, you will see past, present, and the future. It is talking about the sentences of the things or how the student should. This chapter or unit is talking about how we express or write a sentence that has happened in the past or perhaps yesterday, last year. Those are the past times. So what has happened in the past time, and if we are about to write it or say about it, how we can say it in English. This is the past. Then present, what we are doing now, how do we express it in English? And then future, if it is going to happen in the future. For example, tomorrow or day after tomorrow or next year, that's the future time. So if things are happening in the past or in the present or in the future, how we are explaining those things in English? How do we make sentences? In Unit 4, the students will learn it. But make sure you watch the videos of each and every classes. Every classes has their own video. You watch those videos, see them at least 4 or 5 times, and then you prepare your own lessons. Then go to the class and take the classes. Don't make it half. Don't just go to the classroom without watching this video or the other videos that I'm providing. Okay? Now let's go to Unit 5. In the Unit 5, it is talking about the life of different famous people. The objective here is just like the stories. You read it, help the student to read it loud, and then you explain it in your native tongue. Your main objective is to make sure the students know these people's name and what they have done for the humanity, for the people in the world. That's what you must make sure the students learned. For example, I am reading on or two sentences from the Unit 5. Look at this. In 142, it's talking about Leonardo da Vinci. Now, you tell the students about Leonardo da Vinci in your Rohingya tongue, not in English. First, tell them about him, and before going into a classroom, you go through this text and make an understanding of it. Then you make your own stories in your Rohingya tongue or Rohingya language. Then say it to the students. Once they have understood all those things, then you help them read these English sentences just like this. Hey students, you now follow me. Leonardo da Vinci was an artist and inventor during the Italian Renaissance. You just read these things, the students should read it as well. But they already know what they are talking about or what this text are talking about. So explain it or translate it in your native tongue first. In the Unit 6, it's talking about paragraph writing. The paragraph writing unit is emphasizing on the writing of the students. It's not the huge paragraphs they will be writing. There are some sample paragraphs given and you help the student how they can write those paragraphs because you have already taught them how to write a sentence. Now help them how to write more than one sentences about a particular thing. This is what we call a paragraph, and this chapter or this unit is designed to help the student to write paragraphs. I hope you get it. You will get more details in the videos given for these units. So please watch them first. Don't go to the class without watching my videos, because those videos are going to help you to understand how you can make these lessons easier for the students and also for you. In the Unit 7, it's all about preposition, grammar. Okay, here we will help the students to understand to, one, in, and all the prepositions that we use in our daily sentences. Here we will introduce the preposition to the students. And also there will be some idioms, how they could talk about a thing, idioms. So we will discuss about those things in the video lessons. So keep following them. Okay? In the Unit 8, it is talking about male, female, gender, and there are some articles a and the, and all these things are the parts of grammar. It helps us improving the sentence writing or speaking English. So we'll talk about those things in details. So this will be pretty much straightforward. I hope you already know how to use these grammatical things, but I will be giving you videos how you can explain it to your students, because the students must understand. So we want to make it easier for them. Don't worry. If we make it easier for them, it would be easier for them to learn. So that's Unit 8. In the Unit 9, you will see it's talking about dialogues. That means the conversation between two people. Just like the way I am talking with you guys, or perhaps if there was another people in front of me, we will be speaking with each other. That's the dialogue. Now, that's dialogue, you practice it in the class. The main objective of the dialogue class, you practice it. Bring two students in front of the class and ask them to go through it. You help them in your native tongue, then help them to translate in English. I will show the details of those classes in my videos. Please follow them. Okay? Don't just do it in your own. Don't just ask them to read. It's a dialogue. Make it a dialogue. I'll show you how to make a dialogue so that the student understand it very clearly. Alright? In the Unit 8, you'll see there are some grammar. All this grammar are essential part of a sentence. We have not introduced those grammatical things or issues with or to the students yet, but this would be their first exposure. But they have learned about the parts of speech, and all these lessons are prepared based on that factor, keeping in mind that they know about the parts of speech, because we have talked about those parts of speech in grade 1. Still, we will try to recap it in this grammar unit. Okay? Don't forget to watch all the videos that I'm giving, because this video will provide you guidelines how you should explain these lessons to the students and how you should teach them. One more thing, you need to take these classes slowly. If the student do not understand in a class, you take 2 classes. If they don't understand in 2 classes, you take 3 classes. But make sure they understand it. And in the grammar sessions, grammar area, you take the class one day and then you practice another day. Then you again take the class and then you go to the next lesson. Okay? I will be giving you more details in the video lessons. So keep following them. Don't forget to follow the video lessons. This is just the outline of the book. In the Unit 9, you will see there are dialogues and letter writing. Dialogues are the two people talking with each other. For example, if there's another person near me or beside me or in front of me and we were talking to each other, that is a dialogue. So, in this section, you will find different dialogues about different things. The students are talking to each other about different topics. You are supposed to bring the students and make them active acted. It's a kind of acting. They will say what they read. We will show you in a detailed form how you should go through this dialogue based lesson. Please try to follow them. Don't just ask the student to read this dialogue. It is not for reading. It is for practicing English. These dialogues will help them to speak English. And if you have problem with speaking, you please try it as well before going to the class. In the unit 10, there are some moral stories, just like the other unit of stories. In these stories, you will do the same that you do for the other stories. You tell them those stories in your native tongue. You make them realize the underlying message of that story, and then you just ask them to go through the story. You read it aloud in the classroom, and don't just finish it in a day. It might take more than a day. If it takes, you take more than a day, but make sure they enjoy the story. If they don't enjoy the story, this is not going to be any years. So your main objective is to give the students fun when you're taking the reading or stories classes. You're telling them stories and they will love to hear those stories. So you read all these stories first, translate it in your native tongue, and then you decide how you're going to tell that stories. Tell them the stories first, then read it in English. Help the student to read it too. There will be many words and you help them to understand the meaning of those words. The main objective of the storytelling session is just to enhance their reading ability. That's the whole guideline of this book. If you have got any questions or if you need to know anything more, please write it down. I will be visiting the camp very soon, and you can ask me about the concern you have regarding these books and regarding how you are going to teach them. You'll also find some videos that are already uploaded. Watch them and then start teaching. See the differences. If you are facing any difficulties, point them. Tell me. I will try to solve those things. Okay, that's it. That's all for English grade 2 books. Please follow them. And together we can teach all those little children. Okay? Bye-bye.